Views from the Bleachers podcast, Path to Designer, P.Kidd. Question on the table today. Is Luka Doncic trending towards being the next LeBron James? Let's jump into it. So, Luka is having a ridiculous season to this point. He has been pretty much unstoppable. He's really got the Dallas Mavericks. They're playing well, but they're playing well because of him. And that's kind of what brought the topic up, right? Like, it really looks like old school LeBron James, where, like, you're just sitting there every night, just like, oh, he's unstoppable, and there's nothing you can do. Is Luka trending towards being the next LeBron James? What are your thoughts, Kid?
I would say, yeah. He's come in the league. He's dominated since he's been here. For some odd reason, I don't know why he hasn't won an MVP as of yet, but you'd be really hard pressed to tell me that he hasn't been worthy of it. I know he's been considered, maybe top 5 in votes, maybe. I forget which particular year, but it's almost like a foregone conclusion that you have like a Giannis or somebody like that to have an MVP. But Luka's been right there. I mean, sophomore season, 28 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. That doesn't happen often. That don't happen often at all. I don't care what era of basketball we're playing. You don't see that. He follows that up with the same thing. 27 points. So let's give him 28. 28, 8, and 8. Those are LeBron James numbers. Mm-hmm. Like right now, he's averaging for a career LeBron James numbers. LeBron James averaged 27, 7, and 7. Luka right now is averaging 27, 8, and 8. It's a no-brainer.
Here's why I'll disagree. There will never be another LeBron James in this modern era of the NBA. Nikola Jokic is putting up LeBron James numbers. Joel Embiid at times has put up LeBron James numbers, right? When you're talking about LeBron James numbers, LeBron James was doing these numbers at a time where scoring 30 plus was ridiculous to see. It was actually an anomaly at times to see players consistently average 30 plus. LeBron James was doing it at a time where to see somebody averaging 30 plus and play on the defensive end. Listen, we all love Kobe. We know what Kobe's side of the ball was. Kobe was a really good defender, but we know what his focus on the side of the ball was. He was going to say, oh, I'm going for 30. I'm going for 50 tonight, and I'm going for 50 tonight. You may have 42, but I'm going to get my 50, right? So there were times where that played in. Now, at the end of that game, you wasn't going to score on Kobe. That's the biggest difference there. LeBron was able to maintain that through the entire game. Luka's not the defender that LeBron James is. And for me, right, I think that's the biggest thing. LeBron was an anomaly, not because of we won't see that player again, but because there are so many of those players that exist in the current NBA that can put up those numbers and do a lot of the similar things LeBron did, but not all wrapped into one.
You know what? I hear you, and I get. Listen, I'm a Bron fan. What he's done.
I'm not gonna say that. I respect his game though. he's beating my team quite a bit.
I'm a Bron fan. I'm a Bron fan. I'm not a fan of all of those. I'm not a fan of the stands that go so hard to try to put him over other greats. I'm not a fan of that. But as him as an individual from my own eye, it's hard to deny it. I'm a fan. I like what he's done. I like what he's done off court. I like what he's doing on the court. I can't hate on the guy. But this point of defense, I mean, he's played 20 years relatively. He has 6 all defensive accolades. I mean, I get you. Chase down blocks.
When did those come, though? Right? Like, are we talking about at this point in his career? Is he trending towards those? When did those come?
It's 6 over the span of 20 years.
I mean, let's not act
like context. Kobe played 19. He has about 10. That means more than half of his career, because I think he played 19 seasons. No, he played 20 seasons, but we know he was injured for a good point. Like, he was injured for the last, let's say, 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Right? So when we're talking about Kobe in his prime, majority of that time, he was busting your tail on both ends of the floor. Considerably. And rated as such by his peers, even during a time when they really weren't trying to give him awards. And we know what time period we're talking about. LeBron ain't got that. But what LeBron does have is he was a scoring champ. Mind you, rings do matter. He was an assist champ, which is big coming from him. We're talking about someone who's going to be top 5 in points, rebounds, and assists. That's big for his position.
Yeah.
But if we go just by sheer numbers and how that extrapolates out, Luka can surpass him in about 10 years.
Luka's going to start getting all defensive player awards?
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Is he going to be?
He has 16 years at this point to give
to
us
try and get 6
all defense. Like,
hey,
if he decided to, I'm pretty sure he could give us 6 out of the next 16. Like, hey, Luka, just decide I'm gonna stick defense one good year. That's all I need you to do. Every other year, just stick defense. We're gonna be there. Like, I'm not gonna give him I don't think he's a slouch. I think one could even argue that maybe LeBron James is not the person to compare him to, considering the usage rate. I would say maybe James. And now thinking about it,
I think perfect based on early in their careers, right? I mean, honestly, if you think about LeBron early in his career, what we talk about? Who we kicking it to? Boobie Gibson? Yeah, I mean, the usage rate was mostly LeBron, but he would kick it to his teammates. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to sit here and fall into the narrative that he had no help and stuff like that. That man had a squad, a good portion of it. Everyone sits there and totally discounts Larry Hughes when he first got with them. They discount Ilgauskas, who was an all-star before LeBron got drafted and after LeBron got drafted. The debate
at hand is Luka is comparable to LeBron because Luka has similar talent on his team. For people to compare, right? I've seen people try to compare this Luka to what Kobe had. No, Kobe legit had no talent on his team, right? Like Luka has people that he can kick the ball to and knock it down. But so I think these guys are very comparable, but I think the thing is, right, like LeBron James was such an anomaly at the time that he was doing it. He's not an anomaly anymore. Right, like LeBron is still right now putting up 28, 6, and 6. That's not an anomaly anymore. When LeBron James was putting up 28, 6, and 6 his second year in the NBA, it was oh my God, this guy's going to be the next Michael Jordan. He's going to be the next Kobe Bryant. He's going to be the next face of the NBA. Now, if we want to make the debate that Luka's going to be the face of the NBA, that's going to be interesting. But it could happen.
That's different.
It could happen.
That's different. I don't know if he's going to be the face of the NBA just because it's such again, we're still an American-based sport. For the most part, he's an international player. International players do get a lot of love, but they're not the face of the NBA as of now. But as we become more of an international game, I could see it. I think he'll be one of those people that spearhead that along with Giannis. I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that talent. But as far as sheer greatness, I mean, even right now, LeBron's having a great career. Great season for his 20th season, but Luka right now is averaging 34, 9, and 9. I don't know how you get 8.7 rebounds. Let's just give him a 9. 34, 9, and 9. His 4th season in. If you look at it, his numbers have been equal to or better than LeBron's every season up to this point.
Yeah.
Except for one season, I think LeBron had 31 points a game. I can actually just pull it up real quick.
His third season he had 31 points a game. But we also, right, like I think the big thing with that is too, we also have to take in consideration the NBA. Even looking at LeBron numbers right now, LeBron doesn't pass Kareem if we're playing. Well, he might actually. He was averaging 31 back then. But I think it would be a lot harder for LeBron to pass Kareem if basketball was still played the style that LeBron came into the league with.
For sure.
Luka gets to take advantage of that. LeBron also does too. He's still averaging 28 points a game. LeBron does too. So I think, but you have to take into consideration what you're talking about. Is Luka the next LeBron? We're playing in a league that is offensively oriented. So for me, I have to look at the thing that the league wants to kind of, I don't know if I take away is the right way to say it, but kind of pivot away from as strongly, right? The defensive player doesn't get the same kind of calls. The defensive player usually is at fault, right? Different things like that go more towards the defensive. And if I'm looking at Luka, to say that he's going to be LeBron James, I have to look at the thing that the NBA isn't making it easier for you to do. And for me, that's on the defensive end. And I'd say Luka's a terrible defender. I'm not saying he's DeMar DeRozan out here at times. You know what I mean? Like Luka's, DeMar has times where you look at him and you be like, oh, you just didn't want to play defense today. That's cool. Let's go for 50. He's an assassin. He's a scorer. He's a dominant player. But Luka on the defensive end, while he can play, I think that's the part where we have to judge it and say, okay, is he going to be the most dominant force on the court every night on both ends, like LeBron James was for most of his career?
Now, that's the thing. I like what you said. Most dominant player. I think that's what when we say, for me, can he be the next LeBron or is he the next LeBron? Just the level of dominance that he's having at this point of his career. Right now, you'd be a fool to sit there and say that he's not dominant right now. Luka's walking to any stadium right now dropping 30.
Pop said we're gonna make sure he doesn't score 50. He got 51.
Easy money. He's dropping 30 either way. LeBron, fourth year in the season, he's walking to any stadium dropping 28, 30. He was a force to be reckoned with. You may not have had him winning a championship that year.
Yeah.
But he was a force to be reckoned with. When I look at that from a young player, there's no one who was in his draft class, I think, that has a level of skill. And you can sit there and talk about, oh, he played European basketball. That doesn't matter. Everyone has a story behind it. Doesn't matter. Right now, they're all professional basketball players. He is he's a cut above all those 4-year players, 5th-year players that were in his draft class, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, listen, that's for the fans to decide, man. I want to see what they think. Some people would probably think that it's more James Harden, which I am kind of leaning towards now that I look at the numbers. You look at that usage rate, the style of play.
It's not as bad. I keep hearing the usage rate. While they do use Luka a lot, his actual usage rate is like 37%.
I thought it was higher.
Nah, it's only like 37% for the season.
Hey, man,
at the beginning of the season, it was higher. But hey, let us know in the comments below, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us as always. Views from the Bleachers podcast. If you disagree with us, man, you might just be sitting in a different section. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.